we jump into the sermon, just a couple of announcements. I'm very excited for the month of April and May. That's correct. First thing is first. This coming Friday, these 2 days from now, I'm very grateful the church is united as we fast together for the things that are going on in the Middle East. As for myself and Josh, we will be fasting from 6 p.m. the day before all the way till 6 p.m. the day of, just in time for Bible talk. So I encourage everybody who is capable to do that to fast with us. To pray, of course, for the conflicts to end. At the same time, I think the Easter service will be coming up next week as well. And we're thinking of doing something a lot more different from what we did last time. There will be an Easter egg hunt again. And we're trying to change some things for that.
With blindfold. Don't worry,
That is finding eggs by faith and not by sight. Fair enough. But what we were thinking of doing as well is having, of course, we're going to be having food as well in the venue. But afterwards, we were thinking of doing an activity on the venue as well of painting Easter eggs as well. So I think the goal is, bring a friend and we can just all enjoy together. And I think that would be a great time. We'll be planning the Sports Sunday as well by the end of April. And so more details to follow. As well as we're also planning, right now we're also thinking of doing the retreat as well. From the 1st of May all the way to the 3rd. And I'm thinking of doing it in Chengzhou. And the last time we did that was when Salt got baptized, which is a long, long time ago. And the reason why is because, well, in Hong Kong, there's not that many places where you can hike, kayak, stay in the beach, and enjoy good food in the same location in 5 minutes. And so what we did last time when, we had the retreat here was we essentially booked like a hotel and we would all just stay there. Of course, brothers with the brothers, sisters with the sisters. 5 minutes away is the beach. 5 minutes away is the mountain, so feel free to go hiking. And 30 seconds above your house is a place where we all just barbecue and just relax. And so the goal, of course, is go enjoy as a disciple. Don't do things alone. No. I remember when we did go with Salt to the retreat, I was a young Christian, and I was like, oh, cool, we get to do stuff. Great. I want to go hike, guys. Anybody want to join me? And nobody wanted to join me. So I disappeared for 3 hours. And I went to hike by myself. Please don't do that. Please don't do that. Do things with other people. So, of course, we were thinking of some disciples will go and swim and stay at the beach. Some people will then go. Essentially, Chengzhou is like you will be staying literally in the middle. On the north is a mountain. On the south is a mountain. Pick one. And on the south, there is also a pirate's cave where you can squeeze through it as well. And all these different things go and enjoy. But at the same time, the conference is coming in June as well. Flight tickets are getting more expensive. So I encourage everybody, please finish your special missions and then book them tickets immediately. I think I just want to clarify as well. Registration is free because the church has paid for it already. But of course, I encourage everybody, finish your special and then talk to me so I can help you get registered. And so, yes. So finish your special first and then come talk to me. And I'll help you register as well. But going straight into the sermon now. Last time we talked about campus evangelism. Now is going to be one of the most important things. Follow up. John 5 verse 14, a couple of scriptures. John 5:14, it says, later Jesus found him at the temple and said to him, see, you are well again. Stop sinning or something worse may happen to you. John 9:35, Jesus heard that they had thrown him out. And when he found him, he said, do you believe in the Son of Man? So throughout Jesus' time, Jesus preached, but afterwards met with the disciple he preached to, seeing, hey, how will you respond? Acts 14:19-20, then some Jews came from Antioch and Iconium and won the crowd over. They stoned Paul and dragged him outside the city, thinking he was dead, but after the disciples had gathered around him, he got up and went back into the city. Luke 7 verse 36, when one of the Pharisees invited Jesus to have dinner with him, he went to the Pharisee's house and reclined at the table. 1 Timothy 1 verse 5, the goal of this command is love, which comes from a pure heart and a good conscience, and a sincere faith. Romans 12 verse 9, love must be sincere. The reason why we do follow-up is essentially to see how God has worked in other people's hearts. 2 Corinthians 8, verse 8. I am not commanding you, but I want to test the sincerity of your love by comparing it with the earnestness of others. Too often we can go out there and meet hundreds of people. We know on an average day, you meet a lot of people. But it takes an extra step to go after them. To actively and in a conscious way going, hey, I want to know more about your life. Our love must be sincere and genuine, and it's shown all the more in how you follow up with the relationships and friendships you have. Nothing screams religiosity or insincerity of love than meeting someone, talking about how much you love God, and never talking to them again afterwards. People could genuinely feel the tone of your speech, and essentially they could feel your heart, especially when it comes to follow-up. I'm very grateful. I think, me and Josh, we're just on campus, and we're like, okay, let's just go and meet people. Like, that's our job. Let's go and make new friends. I think when I was a younger Christian, I would go, oh yeah, 3 hours. Let's go. No problem. 4 hours. No problem. Don't eat. Let's keep going. Let's meet people. But even today, I was like, man, I felt so exhausted. And essentially, how you speak to people is going to be very clearly seen in the way that you react to others as well, especially if they reject you. Before, when I was in PolyU, I would take all rejections personally. And I would act very, I would say, passive-aggressive. Like, hey, Bible discussion, are you interested? And they go, no. I'm like, huh. Your problem then. See you next time. In my heart, I would go, you're lost. You're going to hell anyways. I mean, that is how bad it got. And I would just go, goodbye, all right, see you next time. And things like that. And obviously, that's not a good thing. And the way I said that obviously showed people, like, this guy's just unfriendly. And that was the reason why we received persecution back then. But I'm very grateful. Of course, that heart changed. And now the people, of course, on campus are more, busy with studies and all these things. So I was like, if they're not interested, that's okay. Like, let them go. And when I evangelize, I go, hey, that's all right. Good luck in your studies. A+. Okay, come on, go get it. I meet them again. They go, oh, I remember you're the guy that wished me luck. Oh, now I'm interested. You're a kind person. So your heart is shown very easily in the way that you respond to people. If you meet people just for the sake of getting people, that is shown too in your follow-up. Following up with others is a clear demonstration on how you make other people feel loved. Do you have a genuine interest, a commitment, and a sense of stability and dependability in the relationship or friendship you have? Showing that you value a person beyond a single interaction. We can be afraid of following up. Why? Because we go, okay, I just met this person for the first time. I'm afraid of them rejecting me immediately. Therefore, okay, I don't want to call. I'll just text. Maybe they'll treat me better. That in your heart, when you follow up with people, you have already decided in your heart, this is someone that God put in my life that could potentially be God's son, or everyone is God's son and daughter. But if God put them in my life, I will love them. No matter what they told me, no matter what they wear, no matter who they are, let's put these differences aside and let me love you. That is what you do with follow-up. I cannot tell you how many times people have brought their friends to church and basically just left. And I would just come out and introduce myself, and we would be closer than the person that they brought up. How many times one of the disciples or one of the Christians brought a friend and go, hey, this is church, yeah, awesome. And then after church, hey, who invited you or who brought you out? I was like, oh, it's this disciple. Where is he? Oh, he's in the bathroom, or oh, he's sick, and the person would just be left out going, who are these people? Or And so now it's my job, okay, this is now my friend. Okay, I need to be closer to them. And there are so many times where I would reintroduce that person to the person that they invited. So say, for example, I don't know, just to explain it, this is not true. Okay. Say Jackie brings a friend, right? Jackie brings Tom. No, Tom is an actual person. Jerry. There we go. You know, fictional person. Jerry comes to church and all these things, and I get to know Jerry a lot more. I know his background, where he studied high school, what he's doing now for work, and then Jackie comes back and is like, hey, you've met Matthew, cool. Hey, Jackie, do you know Jerry's hometown? And he goes, no. So I would go deeper with the people that others have brought out. And that's our job, to get deeper with the people that, first we know and other people's friends as well. Quality of follow-up is shown in your desire to love others. Is your follow-up personalized? That it's not cookie cutter. That you are able to draw information from others and start a conversation. That's the reason why, when you meet with people, you put notes. You go, okay, hey, I met, Jerry at Central Harbor. He's part of a band, and the band name is this. His high school is here, his hometown is here. This is how many siblings he has. This is how many exams he will be taking. This is his disability, etc., etc. So next time you give him a call, you go, hey, Jerry, how was your 2 exams? And the person feel, wow, this person deeply cares about me to remember these small little things. So then you can learn what to launch the next conversation with someone. So don't be awkward. Deeply love others. Take the time to reach out again and again to show that people are your priority in your own schedule. Later I'll talk about, guys, call people. I think this generation has now been allergic to calling people. But calling people is how you get personal times with people. Because let's be honest, when you text people, the only thing you will get out of it, most of the time, is misunderstanding. And you can read a text message 1,000 different ways. But a call is very difficult to be misunderstood. In your own time, are you consistent and reliable in the times of follow-up that you have? Do you have that sense of sincerity? Or do you just want to get or finish this call? Relationships aren't built in a single interaction. They require consistent effort. That's why it's like a sense of watering. One day you talk about the exams, that's one water into the seed. Next week you send the scripture, you go, wow, thank you so much for the scripture. That's more fertilizer, and that's how you grow others. If this is something that you have a very hard time with, or perhaps you lack faith in, look at your own life. Who reached out to you? A disciple, or another Christian, or perhaps even a non-Christian. See how they were able to talk to you, call you, and draw from that experience. Go, wow, Alfred sent me this meme and I felt so encouraged. Okay, maybe I want to go to church. Something like that. There is probably 1 or 2 things that someone else told you on the phone or over text that you go, wow, I want to get to know God now. The key to making follow-up, how to make others feel loved in follow-up is sincerity. Make it personal. Allow it to be at the right time. You can't call people at midnight and expect people to have a good attitude. Ask genuine questions that you are genuinely interested in their life. Like, hey, I know it's Easter. Hey, what would you want to do? Are you traveling? And it's all these small little conversations. Be human. I think sometimes we forget that. Be 3-dimensional. Have you gone to concerts recently? Have you watched the newest movie? Be normal. It's not just about inviting people to church. As much as that is important, we forget to be human. Don't have a script. I think I could be very, I'm guilty of this. Copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste. At the amount of people I meet, it's very easy for me to copy, paste. Hey, how's it going? I put bro, because I just copy, paste. I don't have to change the name. And how's it going, bro? How many exams? And I text it to somebody and go, bro, I'm not even studying anymore. And that's my sin, that I just copy, paste, and I don't make things personal. People today have invented new ways not to interact with other people. Letters. Before we had video calls and all these things, texts. Now we have TikToks. Now we have memes. Now you can share information without even having to text people. So we're getting very lazy in human interaction. Yet how did Jesus preach? He didn't send memes. He wouldn't text you. He would go to your house and spread what he wanted to say. And in the same way, we shouldn't be generic. And we should go and strive to connect with other people at all times. Why do we go and follow up? And who do we reach out to? Everybody. We can't expect, yes, you can, of course. This is what Jesus did. You meet someone, they're like, yeah, I'm interested in studying the Bible. And they immediately become disciples. That's much of the first century. But now, of course, a lot more people need time. They need to think about it. They need to make decisions. And follow-up is how we go out and reach them. So even if they initially are resistant to building friendships, our friendship should then, erode the sense of distrust with strangers. Yes, calling people is weird. Get used to it. It's never not been weird. For us, talking to strangers is weird. But we must tank it. We must just go, amen, this is weird. But my love for people is this much. And I'm willing to go for it. If you cannot call someone and invite them to lunch, you are not that close with them. So maybe you need to plow in more time, more encouragement, and more, the first time you met, maybe you should have done more, be more encouraging or have had a good impression or something like that, so that they would trust you to even pick up a call. Listening to this sermon was really convicting. And so Joe preached this sermon a long time ago, and we are now imitating here for the evangelism playbook. And when I heard it, I was like, amen. For the last 3 months, I've just been texting people. I've been a coward. I wasn't able to call people. And so I changed it, and I called pretty much everybody yesterday. And while I was calling people, there's this guy that I met in high school and all these things. That call lasted for 40 minutes. And essentially, he went to his Catholic church, and he goes, I have this question about the Bible. Question. He goes, I'm so grateful that you called me, because I wouldn't have had these questions answered. And so if I just texted, that couldn't have happened. God allows us to meet other people once, but at the same time, you need to have faith that God used you to meet them. And your follow-up is simply your response to how you see that relationship. God touches us in many different times of our lives. And God knows how to follow up in the right way. God has done the follow-up more than us. God arranged the times you've met this disciple, or seen this poster, or seen this ad, or seen this in Instagram, and all these different things. God has moved all of these things. Our follow-up is literally the last thing on that path. Hong Kong is small enough for us to meet someone we've met 5 years ago. How many times we've met past disciples on the MTR, scrolling. I think it's really funny. I think when, Melissa started coming back to church, we saw her every single day on the Ho Man Tin Bridge. And I'm very sure that helped her go, okay, hey, I must, get back with the disciples, love God, all these different things. But it took that bridge every single Monday, Tuesday, Thursday on the Ho Man Tin Bridge during COVID to get her out. That's all God. Many times, when we follow up with people, that we just so happen to be at the right time. Many times we meet people and it's the wrong time for them. They're having an exam, so they don't want to talk now. So you call them 3 months later and they go, whoa, I'm now more free. Now I want to come. Do you believe that the people on your phone list is from God for you to go and love? So many people today, like I believe many Chinese, they ask you, hey, why did you meet me on the street? And the very simple answer was, I don't know, you're next to me. But many Chinese people have that belief that something has led me here. And that's true, and that's God. And even, this Filipino guy that I was talking to, he would just go, I'm so grateful of having met you on the MTR at the right time when all my exams got finished, when I got dumped by 3 girlfriends, to have then met you and not gotten busy And I remembered your desire to love God. It was just really crazy. Which is really crazy. And all of a sudden, I was waiting at the 7-Eleven, and 3 other Filipinos were next to me, and they were just talking. So it's all God. And he just goes, wow, I can't believe that God had allowed me to meet all of you guys at the right time. I think he is calling me for something bigger. And that is what follow-up needs to be. When you look at the ads on your phone, be it Instagram, YouTube, and all these things, you will never touch or press that ad the first time. It would take you 3 more times, 4 more times, 5 more times of seeing it before it registers in your mind and goes, hey, I actually want that service now. In the same way, we must have these different touch points, exposure with other people to build trust and go, now I trust and I want to know more about God. And looking at this room, right, I think let's do a little bit of a survey. For some of us, who took less than 3 months to become a Christian? Raise your hand. Okay, cool. Okay, great. 3 to 6 months. Okay. 6 to 12 months. Nikkei, what are you doing? Oh, longer. 12 to 18 months. 12 onwards. Or rather, 2 years or more. Yeah, Denzel and all these things. But what I'm trying to say is, it takes different time frames for people to understand and finally, surrender their lives to God. But we as disciples must go after it as much as we can and never give up. Luke 18 verse 15. But the seed on good soil stands for those with a noble and good heart, who hear the word, retain it, and by persevering produce a crop. So point number 1, how do we follow up? 2 Timothy 1 verse 7. For God did not give us a spirit of timidity, but a spirit of power, of love, and self-discipline. With the people that we have met immediately, on that day, we must send them a text immediately. Go, hey, this is who I am. I'm the stranger that invited you, talking about the Bible. Hey, talk about something that shocked you from your first conversation. Maybe you were wearing a hat, or he was wearing a shirt with something, or something that you talked about in the conversation. Why? Because people go through 200 to 500 different interactions with different people. So maybe for you, you remember that guy, but for him, you are one of the many people that he's talking to. You need to strive to be different and go, hey, this is who I am. Whether they respond to that text immediately tells us who or what they really want in life. Many times we give them a call, we text them, and they never respond. They go, okay, amen. Maybe he's not that open to having a friendship right now. Let me try again later on. But for many of the people who immediately go, hey, I remember you, Nikkei. Thank you for talking about the Bible. You had great hair. And they text you every single day. They go, wow, this man or this woman is eager to know more. Let me go and plant. Let me go and keep going. In that week, you want to build an emotional relationship with them as your new friend as much as possible. So ideally, you call them. Call them in a day or 2 days and start building a relationship. And you've got to call. You need to make a big step, and you need to say in the call that you have, go, I really want to be your friend. And that's how you do it. Essentially, the whole point of follow-up is how can you then get, text or call to then meet this person face to face. You don't have to meet them in the next time you meet them. It doesn't have to be a Bible study. It doesn't have to be church. It doesn't have to be Bible discussion. Ideally, it's awesome, but you want to build something that they would trust you. Maybe they would be more open of watching a movie together with friends. Maybe they want a coffee. Maybe they want a meal. Maybe they want to go to the AIA carnival with someone and they just need a friend. You need to be that person for them. And then in a long term, as you get more people, you need a way to manage the people that you've met. And so something I'm trying to do is I get a piece of paper and I write all the people down and go, okay, I'm just going to go through them. Joe does it very differently. He goes, if he puts a number 1 at someone and just goes, hey, this guy's really, really interested, etc., etc. And some who are not interested, they go, okay, name, I don't know, favorite movie. And then you'll talk to them again when it's Christmas, and they'd be more open to come Christmas and all these different things. But that's up to you to kind of decide how do you, manage all these relationships at the right time. And so, we need to have weekly disciplined set times for follow-up. If it's not in your schedule, you will never do it. And so, for me, I do mine on Monday, essentially for 2 hours. Monday 2 to 4 and Tuesday 2 to 4. Why? Because I need to invite my friends to Wednesday, and then Thursday night to come to Friday, and then Saturday afternoon for people to come to Sunday. And it takes a lot of work, and that should be what it is. Relationships are not easy. News flash for some people, And likewise, call rather than text. That is number one rule. Even if they don't respond, they would go, wow, this person took the time to call me. Wow. Just tell them, hey, I tried calling you. I just want to make sure that you're okay with all the stress that's been happening. Please feel free to call me back. Hey, how is this exam? All these different things. Make sure to be polite. Even if you tried calling and they go, oh, bro, I'm in an exam. You don't go, hey, it doesn't matter. You stay on this call. Be respectful. Maybe you call them and they're at work and you just go, okay, that's okay. Call me back later. Don't worry about it. I'm just trying to say hi and see how you're doing. Build a friendship and always believe that they can become a Christian. 1 Corinthians 13, 4-8. Love is patient, love is kind. It is not easily angered. It always hopes, always perseveres. Love never fails. People want to know how much you care before they care how much you know. And there are different ways of what you can text people. Provided obviously they text you back. That's the most important thing. But we must do different ways or use different ways to touch other people's hearts. Personal conversations through call, of course, sending them, relevant YouTube clips or all these different things. Maybe you meet a non-Christian from China and they go, how do you believe in God so quickly? Do you have any resources? And then there's a video, of course, how to believe in God in 5 minutes. You send them, it's like, hey, this helped me. Maybe this can help you. Many times people are won over by simply just listening to them. How many people are open to just get coffee and just be listened to? And so, coffee and just getting time with people just to listen to them, have a normal conversation with a human being. Sometimes, for some of us, that's really rare. When I went to uni, nobody ever did that with me. Have a normal conversation about what I want in my life, what I do just for fun. This is rare. Especially in a world where every single person is so much desiring of your job, your future, and all these things. I just want to have a normal conversation with a friend. And many people need that. And so you need to be the one to offer that to people. Get them to meet your friends. If they are too busy, bring disciples with you. Hey, let's grab lunch. I know you're free at this time. Let's just relax. Showing them your testimony. Many people have done this. Hey, how did you become a Christian? And many times you sharing one-to-one on the phone or in person means so much to them. YouTube sermons. Go support them. Maybe, for example, I'm really, really encouraged. I think Queenie has many of those MMA fights. And all the disciples just go, hey, we want to support. We want to watch you. Or we want to encourage you. I think for many people, they desire that too. Many times I appreciate Martin. His sister had an open mic or a performance, and he goes, "Hey, sis, I want to support you." And so many of these things. Write them a card, greet them on their birthday. Sometimes these things we don't, we're not aware of. Send them a movie. The Gospel of John. If you search Gospel of John blank language on YouTube, there is essentially the book of John in movie form in the language of their choice. And of course, pray for them. Ephesians 6 verse 12. For our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against authorities, against the powers of this dark world, and against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms. Too often we pray for the Christians. That's awesome. But when was the last time you've prayed for a non-Christian? For leaders, for people, for God to move in their hearts. Too often we just go, oh, I want to do something in their lives, and that's it. God works in people's lives more than you will. And most importantly, never, ever give up on people. If you don't love them, who will? I'm very grateful to be one of the longer conversions in the church. Come on, Nikke. I think someone actually beat that. But anyways, it doesn't matter. God brought us in the right place, the right time. But I'm very grateful. I think God has allowed me to study the Bible for close to 8 months. The first time she invited me to these Bible discussions. Oh yeah, Bible. Oh, cool. And at that time, there's another Filipino. I was like, oh, another Filipino. I want to meet this Filipino. Bible, sure. I mean, I go to Bible every week. But another Filipino in Hong Kong, rare. He studied the Bible with me, seeking God and all these things. I still have the notes that he studied the Bible with me at home. And essentially, he studied the Bible with me. I read the Bible and all these things, but I actually never did more than that. Kept coming to Bible talk, didn't really do anything. Eric Valenzuela, is really cool. We were having our Bible talk, and he's pulled me aside, and we were then talking about Pokemon and Overwatch and games, video games for 2-3 hours. And then we did another Bible study. I'm really grateful for him. Dean, encouraging me, going to Jollibee together and all these different things. And essentially for 6 months, I'd never really progressed. These guys did so much for me. I went to church, and I'm very grateful for the things that, the brothers did with me. Every Sunday after church, we would all go together in Long Moon. If you remember, it's closed now in Hong Ham. They have a little tatantang. Essentially, it's $50, and you get a big portion of fries, chicken steak, and an iced cold drink for $50. And all the brothers, we would just go there, and we would just eat until we're full. Many times we don't talk, we just eat. But I think we've done that for like 3 months consecutively. Movie nights, I remember going over to the brothers' household. We would watch a horror movie. Some of the sisters got sick because it was really, really scary. It was during Halloween. We were all just vibing. I remember Bible talk or Bible discussions, and we would do it essentially in a room like this. In Hong Kong, a Bible discussion in a room like this is very rare. We had a piano, we had toys for like kids' playground. We would all cook maybe 3 big packs of Indomie and serve it. We would wrap, lumpia wrappers. We would make our own lumpia or like Shanghai rolls by ourselves, deep fried by ourselves, and we would just all vibe. Good conversation with the brothers, with the sisters. It took that much for me to go, wow, I really want to be part of this church. The cutting thing was, Aaron never gave up on me. And I even remember, it was my birthday. It was my 18th birthday. For 18th birthday, that's a very big story. It's a big birthday. So me and my family came over. We celebrated. But essentially, the day of my birthday, I was alone in my room. And then Aaron invited me. He's like, hey, Aaron, hey, Matthew, we have midweek at our place. Did you want to come? And I would text him, hey, I'm sorry, it's my birthday. I'm celebrating. I would say that. And so I was at home playing my DS by myself on my birthday. And there's something in my heart that goes, bro, this is so sad. And so I read the text. I'm like, okay, I guess I'm going. So I went over to midweek. Aaron was preaching, and none of them knew it was my birthday. And then they knew it was my birthday. Then they sang for me. But deep down, there was this sense of, hey, because they kept talking to me, because they kept following up with me, because they kept inviting me, I really wanted to be part of this church. We must not forget about the success stories that we have. We are all a product of the success stories of people following up and having and loving us for such a long time. Who could forget? And these are some stories in Sydney. I think there was a time where Joe was following up with Obed. Essentially, it was the new year, and he essentially had no people coming to church or something like that. And he goes, man, I just want to start the year off great. Essentially, he had a lot of deleted numbers. And so if you go to your phone and just start putting like +852, and all these numbers would just show up, the people that you've met before. So he would just started calling all these numbers that he had before. Calling. And all of a sudden, this random text saying, yes, I want to come. All of a sudden, Obed came to church. And this guy comes from a Muslim background that Charlotte originally reached out to, but then didn't really want to study the Bible. But then later on, after 18 months of love and follow-up, he then became a Christian, is now heading the admin, used to lead the admin of our of the Australasian Australasia world sector is now married and has done all these things and kids, But he has been such a great, one of the pillar Christians in the Sydney church. But it took this long, and Joe texting or calling 500 people with no responses, just for God to work in his heart. And so many of these stories, I think we look around us. I still, as much as I remember your guys' stories, I'm just thinking about it. But anyways, I think Nikkei is one of the clearest stories of being part of the original mission team and all these things. God worked in his heart, studying the Bible with 3 or 4 different leaders women leaders of the church, which taking then 16 to 12 to 14 months, and all these different things, But again, ask the people or look at yourself. You go, the disciples. God has worked on me this long. And if God moved in my heart in this way, why should I then withdraw my heart with the people I'm meeting today? So just to conclude, the title of my lesson, follow up, the why and the how. Why should we follow up? Why? Because everyone is looking for love. And as disciples, if we get that love from God, why is it then that we are storing it up for ourselves? We must show it to others in any and every way possible. The how. Many people love or feel love in different ways. We must not be a one-trick pony and go, I'm just good at talking to people. You go, great, then master how to gift people things. Master how to serve others. Master how to spend time and have quality time with others. If love never fails, the only issue is we are not loving enough. And the fruit, we will see this fruit eventually. The desire and your how much you follow up will then go to show how much God will then bless. Going, because these disciples love this much, why wouldn't I want to add to their number? So with that, to God be glory.